you want to find out what your competitor's SEO strategy is without them even knowing that you're looking into it? Do you want to find out why everywhere you turn, they're there? Every search you make, they're above you. How are they doing it? I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to tell you how to find out for free. Doesn't require any sketchy industrial espionage. You haven't got to hide around corners with a camera. All the information I'm going to give you in this episode is going to explain how to backwards engineer your competitors' SEO strategies without them finding out you're doing it. This is all public information, and it's not going to cost you a penny. My name's Andrew Laws. This is the Business Amplifier podcast. Let's do some cool stuff. So why do you want to figure out your competitor's SEO strategy in the first place? Oh, the answer's so simple. If you can figure out what they're doing to constantly be beating you in Google search results, you can match them and then do it better. It's a game, and the best thing about this game is they probably won't even know you're playing. There's nothing sketchy that I'm going to tell you. This is all completely open information, and more importantly, this is all for free. So, first of all, we want to find out where your competitors' backlinks are. Number one, who is linking to your competitors? Now, if you run a website, you can just sign up to Google Search Console. And Google Search Console will say, hey, here's a list of who we think is linking to you. Obviously, your competitors aren't going to give you that information. And you can't sign up for Google Search Console if you don't own the domain. That's pretty decent safety valve, if I'm honest. So how are we going to figure out who's linking to them? Guess what? Google's going to tell us, and they're going to tell us for free. How? Oh, it's so easy. We're going to use a search operator. Don't worry too much about what a search operator is. I'm going to tell you how to do this. In the Google search box, you can type in LINK : and then any domain you want, and Google will show you most of the people who are linking to your competitor. So for example, if you put in LINK : youtube.com, you'll see that many people are linking to YouTube. That's possibly not the best example. But if you want to see how this works, just type in LINK, link, then put your domain name in. You might learn something interesting, actually. But the key here is to put in link : your competitor's domain, and then link : your domain, and just look at the two. Don't worry about going too deep with any analysis here. Just look, well, where are they getting their links from? Who's talking about them? What company, in what company are they keeping? Because authority is everything in SEO. So if your competitor's being talked about in very high circles, which you'll be able to spot because they're being linked to from very high authoritative websites, then you need to do some of that. Let's move on to free tip number 2. This tip is also about figuring out who's talking about your competitors, but this time we're looking for mentions, and we're looking for press mentions, especially if you have industry news in the niche that you operate in. Is there like a magazine that covers your parrot beak polishing industry, or ice cube collecting, or any other terrible example I can come up with? If so, are you sending them press releases? Are they talking about you? Do you know the name of the editor? Are you in the mix? We've done work with clients where we've only found out some of these publications exist when we've done this sort of bit of Googling, a bit of research. So how do you figure out which websites are talking about your competitors? This is slightly different to backlinks. That's who's actually put a link in for someone to click and go to your competitor. Mentions is just blah, 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 parrot beak company. How do you find them? Well, Google Alerts is still pretty good. If you've never heard of Google Alerts, go and have a look. It's useful for all kinds of things. Search for Google Alerts using Google, put in the name, in this case the brand name that you want to know about, and Google will tell you if they pop up. The nice thing about this is it's a bit of a fit and forget thing. So you're starting off your competitor research, but Google's going to keep on telling you when they find new things. This is a little extra bonus. It tells you when your competitors are working particularly hard or doing a new marketing technique or something, because Google go, oh, you know them people you asked us to keep an eye on, well, they've just done this, and you go, well, thank you very much, Google. That's very, very interesting. So there's Google Alerts. It still exists. It's an old website, still very useful. I'm going to tell you a much, much simpler way of finding out which websites are talking about your competitors. Just use Google. Just standard Google, google.com, co.uk, IE, whatever country you're in. Just search for your competitor's name. This won't work with some competitors if their name is very, very generic. And if you want to make sure you're only going to get results about your competitors, then use the little speech marks either end. So, for example, Parrot Beak Polish Company. Type in speech mark, Parrot Beak Polish Company, speech mark. That is another search operator. Don't get too worried about what search operators are. But this is a way of telling to Google, look, I only want that exact phrase. Just tell me where you see that. There's another search operator you can use to find out who and which websites are talking about your competitor's brand. You just type in INTITLE : then the domain name, and it will show you all the articles and all the web pages around the web that mention your competitor's brand in the title. Again, I keep saying do this for yourself as well. This is really about comparing yourself to your competitors. Find out if you're the big fish or if they're the big fish. Interestingly, there's a lot more to learn if they are the big fish, because if they're a really big company, they've probably hired a company like the SEO to do their SEO. And by doing some of the things I'm talking about in this video, you can reverse engineer that and then do the same and then do it better. There's another way of finding out who is talking about your competitors. Ask AI, ask Bard or ChatGPT or any of them really. But importantly, if you type in, hey ChatGPT, tell me who's talking about Parrot Beak Polish Company. After they've come up with some answers, type in these two words, prove it. In fact, this is a good AI ChatGPT hint anyway. Any information it gives you, if you look at it and you think, that looks a bit fishy, just type in, prove it. Because a surprising and disappointing number of times, ChatGPT will go, yeah, I just made that up. I've got no basis for that whatsoever. Naughty, naughty, naughty. In your bed, ChatGPT, in your bed. So there we go. That was number 2. Look for mentions. Look for mentions of your competitors, especially in the press, especially in the industry press. Number 3, use your eyeballs. These are free. Well, unless you wear glasses like I do, then technically you'd have to pay for glasses if you want to be able to see properly. But let's not get bogged down. Hopefully you know what your website looks like. Hopefully you know what the content on your website is. Do you know what content your competitors have got on your website? Really? Are you sure? Go and have a look. Go and have a look. Just use your eyeballs, use your brain, flick through it and go, well, you know, what sort of language are they using? What sort of topics are they discussing? What sort of tone do they use? Are they very salesy and over the top? Or are they very demure and very gentle? Just use your eyes, use your brain. But eyes and brains is dull. You're probably watching this YouTube video or listening to this podcast because you want the geeky inside edge. I'm going to give you some of that. I'm going to make using your eyes and ears redundant. Well, not completely, because you still need to operate vehicles and walk and things. But in the case of SEO competitor research, I'm going to give you some power-ups. Ready? Any domain name you go to, any website you go to, where you've got the domain, add on /sitemap.xml. That will give you a list of every single page on the website in varying formats, but they're all much of a muchness. If you know your competitors are using WordPress, this works particularly well. Copy and paste it into a spreadsheet. Do the same for your domain. Look at your own sitemap. If you didn't know you've got one, then you need one. You've probably got one anyway. They're kind of automatic a lot of the time. And just do a comparison. If you want to make it even easier, copy paste their sitemap into ChatGPT, then say, hey ChatGPT, that's my competitor's sitemap. Tell me about it. Do an analysis. Tell me what's interesting. Then paste in your sitemap list and say, hey GPT, what are the differences? What's the biggest difference? That's just a really fast way of doing it. But again, if you're not sure about the results, remember just to type, prove it. And ChatGPT will either go, I just made that up, or it will give you a good explanation of how it figured out the differences. Actually, once you've loaded that information into GPT, ask it as many questions as you can. Just say, well, what's the primary topic that this company talks about? What's the average length of title on their website? If you're searching for the products you sell online, and your competitors are always coming up at the top. That's a really good sign that they are the ones you need to research. Look at their sitemap. Have they got 10,000 pages wherever you've only got 20 pages? It's all about looking for differences. All about looking for opportunities to match your competitors and beat them. I'm afraid this is one of those things with SEO where I can give you the tools and I can tell you how to do it for free, but the diagnosis is often going to lead to a prescription of having to do some hard work. That is absolutely unavoidable in SEO. There is no big magic switch we can flick. Unfortunately, believe me, we would do it if we could, but then everyone would do it. This is about getting an advantage. That's why I'm giving you these 3 ways to do competitor research for free, because it's such a good starting point. We talk about keyword research, we talk about on-site, technical SEO, and all these many other facets of SEO, but the honest truth is you've only got to be that much better than your competitors. So have a look at what they're doing and beat them. This is fun. This is the game. This is why SEO geeks like me get up in the morning, also to have breakfast and make cups of tea for our partners and all those kind of things. But seriously, this is the good stuff. So many amazing things can come from competitor research. There you go. The whole point of competitor research is learning. So to reiterate, number 1, backlinks. Find out who's linking to them. Number 2, look for mentions of their brand. Number 3, look at their content. This is not a promo video, I promise. But SEMrush just makes this whole process easier. Just saying, link in description. Not a promoted video. So there you go. One final thing. The favourite thing of all is when we do this for clients and we find out their competitors suck. Then you've just got an open goal. Just do good stuff. A lot of SEO comes down to doing good stuff, putting good stuff in the machine, good stuff will come out. So if you find your competitors are behind, then crack on, go for it. You're already ahead, but don't rest on your laurels. Just because you're beating your competitors in search results doesn't mean you will do forever. Competitors have a horrible habit of, do you know what, doing competitor research and finding out what you've done. All of the things that we've just talked about are tools that are open to everybody. So if you're ahead, make sure you stay ahead. Constantly iterate and improve. Constantly do good things. Keep putting good things into the machine. So there you go. What did you think of this episode? Was this useful? Are you actually going to do the competitor research? This is just the tip of the iceberg, but I've deliberately developed this system, this simple 3-point system, so that anybody can use it. You don't need any prior SEO knowledge, and I want to know how you get on with this. Let us know in the comments. Contact us. Go to yeseo.io and say hello. That's it. Just remains for me to say like, subscribe, and guess what? Tell your mum.